My name is Matthew Allen Fanizza. I'm from Howard Beach, Queens, New York. I'm 21 years old, and I'm a digital media producer for multiple digital media outlets around the New York City area. I worked for Fantasy Sports Network, ABC Channel 7 News, and right here, Backpack Broadcasting. I'm the executive producer for the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Check it out, all platforms. And I do a lot of work behind the scenes on Silent Stories and what you're watching right now, the Sports Walk. Ever since a young age, I just love sports. I grew up listening on the radio to WFAN, all the Mets games. My dad used to play it throughout the house. And from that time, from the time I could actually watch television, I just watched all the games on wherever they were, Pix 11, SNY, and stuff like that. At a young age, I remember just picking up a baseball bat. I think it was a Fisher-Price once with my brother, and we play all around the house. The amount of holes that are in the walls are insane, and my mom's not too proud of me for that. But baseball has just been a love of mine, and then from there transitioned into basketball. And interesting story, you see I'm wearing a Jazz hoodie. Yes, I am a Jazz fan. I am the #1 Utah Jazz fan in all of New York City. Someone out there can fight me for that title because it's rightfully mine. So my beloved Utah Jazz this season for the 2017-2018 season broke expectations, simply stated. They weren't expected to make the playoffs whatsoever. If anything, they were maybe put to be an 8th seed. But for me, I tweeted this out. I said I felt like a father who's a coach of a Little League team. And me being that father, the Jazz being a Little League team, just felt so bad because this team fought and fought throughout the whole season, yet they just came up so short to making it to the Western Conference Finals. Even the finals, even though I didn't think they were going to beat the Warriors, and I totally didn't think they were going to beat the Rockets. But just seeing them fight throughout the season, the amount of adversity they've come that they had to fight off, I'm proud. I was proud to be a Jazz fan this season, as in every other season. But this season was something special because they just gelled as a team. I think if anyone can agree with me on this, I think as a team, in terms of chemistry, they might have been the best team in terms of chemistry in all of NBA this season. A small market team like the Utah Jazz can win a championship. However, I think they'll have to work a lot harder than these other teams in terms of putting a team together and, figuring out how they want to play and figuring out a different play style in terms of these super teams of the NBA. Realistically, I don't think Utah will ever have a super team, ever, and that's because of the area they live in. And who wants to really go to Utah? I mean, it's a beautiful place, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you're playing at Golden State, or you're not playing in Boston, or you're not playing in Houston. But however, I feel like in basketball, it's a game of runs, it's a game of momentum, and if said Utah Jazz in the future, I think next year, but if the Utah Jazz come together as a team, everyone's healthy, Gobert doesn't miss all these games, Mitchell becomes the star player he does, Royce O'Neal becomes the player he can become because he's good, don't sleep on him. Rubio plays, doesn't get injured as well, Rubio just stops shooting the ball. They can win, and they could win a finals. They just need to play as a team, and they need to figure out how to take down these super teams, because sometimes these super teams, from when I analyze them, they don't play as a team all the time. They play a lot of ISO ball, and everyone has their ego on the court. They don't play as a team. Whereas the Jazz, which they've done so well this season, they put their egos aside because they realize that they're playing for a bigger whole. They're playing for the city of Utah, and that's really what the Utah Jazz play for. The future of sports is quite interesting, and it's actually going to be revolutionary in the next coming years. I'd say 10 years down the line. 5 years, you'll definitely see big changes. But it's going to be digital. Everything's going to be digital. Traditional media, television, and stuff like that, I think they're going to miss out. examples of this being the XFL coming in 2020, I think it is. They just put in bids for what cities should have teams and stuff like that. But the way the XFL is going to work, and from what I've been reading, the way they're gonna distribute these games is 100% online via Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, or maybe their own streaming platform, which would be on their website, which they will do because McMahon's a money man. He knows how to do that whole business. But yeah, it's going to be all digital. And what's interesting about that is that it's going to allow, I don't know, the XFL as a company to manipulate how they want their product to be sold and like what advertisers they want to be done. And like they don't have to fight for TV time or ad time, or they don't have to fight for a spot. They don't have to fight for the NFL, and that's the beauty of it, because their games are going to be online. If they do go online, which I think they will be, they could have Monday night games and they don't have to fight for a spot on Fox or wherever the NFL, I don't watch the NFL, so I don't know, you gotta bear with me on that, but they could just have this on YouTube or Twitch, and that's the beauty of it. And here's the bigger catch. Online streaming can be accessed anywhere in the world, internationally. All you need is an internet connection. You don't need to buy a TV, you don't need to buy a TV cable provider, you don't need anything. That's why transitioning into E-League is also going to be the next thing in sports, because the accessibility of it, right? People in Europe, people in Africa, people in every continent of the world watch E-League. You might not think it's big, but it's big. Go research it. Because the accessibility, all you need is an internet connection, and you can watch any game on Twitch. And I watch Twitch all the time now. It's the next big thing. I'm studying this, like it's crazy. These tournaments on Twitch have hundreds of thousands of viewers, more than certain sports that they air on TV. Who's watching lacrosse? Not to get on lacrosse, but who's watching Major League Lacrosse? Who's watching certain sports? Like, the amount of people that are watching on Twitch are insane. And Twitch is making so much money off of this. And the reason behind the growing aspect of Twitch and E-League and the XFL is the accessibility. Digital platforms allow for the accessibility for anyone. That's the beauty of it, and it's scaring traditional media companies because they can't stop it. They have to adapt, but they're not going to adapt because they won't have the same regulations, they can't control it, and stuff like that. So, my advice to you, get a good internet connection, because soon enough you're gonna be watching everything on the internet. You're gonna be watching things on your phone, your iPad. If you're not already, I don't know where you are. But the future of sports is going to be online, whether you like it or not. And the way I see it, it's just gonna allow for new and better content to be out there for people to consume.